10:22. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Next, our reporter Anna Holligan has been speaking to teenagers who survived the world's most deadliest sea crossing. All of their parents paid people traffickers thousands of pounds to smuggle them from Egypt to Italy in the hope of a better life. When they arrived in Sicily, they were helped by a woman who's become known as their fairy godmother.
Brutta.
It was horrible. I don't know how else to describe it.
It
was my first time on a boat.
They told me when I got on the boat, everything would be provided for. I was at sea for 7 days. I brought some biscuits and juice with me. They ran out after 3 or 4 days.
These teenagers survived the world's most deadly sea crossing. Their parents paid people traffickers to smuggle them across to Sicily. They've settled in now at the San Giovanni Bosco foster home, but they haven't seen their family since they arrived.
This is where these Egyptian teenagers live. They've invited us into their home. All of them travelled over from Egypt to Italy across the Mediterranean 2 years ago. Some of them spent up to 10 days at sea. We have to hide their faces because they're all under 18 years old, but they have agreed to share their individual stories with us.
And we start with the basics.
What's your favourite thing about Italy?
Pizza, lasagna, football.
Raise your hands if you came here to Italy in search of a better life.
I chose to come here to change my life, to see what the world is like. I wanted to change my world. I didn't come because I needed to work or because my family needed me to come here. I had a good life in Egypt.
And what do your friends in Egypt think? Do they think it's exciting? Are they jealous?
No, it's very common. We're not the only ones here in Italy. Virtually everyone in Egypt is coming here. It's perfectly normal now. It's not unusual.
But do you miss your parents?
Yeah.
And you speak to them on Skype, on Facebook? Skype. And these guys now, are they like your family?
I feel like I'm with my family, with my brothers.
So who was the worst? Who was the most sick? You were the most sick.
They were lucky. Their 3,000 to 4,000 euro smuggler's fee was enough to secure a space on a ship that was more seaworthy than most. When they eventually came ashore, scared and exhausted, their cause was taken up by their very own fairy godmother, Maria Paola Melandrino.
Sometimes I despair. I say, Mamma mia, I just don't have the time. And then I swear to myself, that's it, I'm giving it all up. But then when I see them, I can't stop myself. I just have to help them.
She is the legal guardian for the boys from San Giovanni Bosco, a role she's played unpaid for more than 40 other unaccompanied minors.
I've been helping young people for 10 years, young people who are in trouble, both from Italy and abroad. They need someone like me because all young teenagers need a mum and a dad. If you're under 18 and your parents aren't around, then there's nobody to defend you. So they need somebody to be there for them as they grow up. The parents of these kids trusted them to somebody, we don't know who, to bring them to Italy. For them, Italy is this fantasy of wealth. They think they'll find work here. There are lots of football players from ethnic minorities who've made their fortune. So they come in pursuit of that dream.
According to the Italian government, in 2014, over 4,000 minors arrived here unaccompanied. For geographical reasons, Sicily accounts for the highest proportion. And they keep on coming. In the first 3 months of 2015, more than 600 child migrants disembarked in Italy.
Here in Sicily, it's really not hard to find evidence of people trafficking. This is Pozzallo port on the south of the island, and well, these used to be smugglers' vessels, now impounded by the Italian authorities. And it was on board boats like these that the boys from San Giovanni Bosco were brought across the Mediterranean Sea.
And just imagine being trapped inside. 46 young people were locked in the hold of one of these ships to act as a human ballast. They were suffocated by engine fumes, their bodies discovered 4 days later. Traditional entry points have tightened their border controls, so smugglers on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea are increasingly targeting Italy as their main entry point. While parts of Africa and the Middle East remain dangerously unstable, these human tragedies will keep on docking on European shores. We witnessed 300 people arriving at Augusta port, a few kilometres down the coast. Some of the thousands who've landed here in recent months. Italy is very clearly under pressure. And in the confusion of these mass arrivals, a third of the child migrants who arrive alone go missing. Some of them get sucked into an uncontrolled underworld. 2 Afghan boys in Maria Paola's care ran away from their foster home.
If they escape, what I'm worried about is that they'll become drug dealers, or will get involved in child prostitution, or they might go off the rails and rob people. I'm also worried about organ trafficking. They could very well disappear and nobody would ever know.
2 years after they reached Italy, these young Egyptians are now well integrated, with the help of a team of social workers and psychologists. But the pressure of the growing numbers means that many other unaccompanied minors just don't receive this level of care. But these Egyptian teenagers have found a place and the people willing to support their ambitions.
Sei bravissimo. Vorrei che tutti i minori.
I'd like to give all young people the same sort of lucky start in life that I had. So we're giving them all kinds of opportunities which they can use to their advantage, whether they stay here or return to the countries they came from. They represent hope for Italy. They show that immigrants can be integrated into society. This is the most successful example of migration in the country.
Anna Hologan reporting.